Thank you, Anna-Marie.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, LIASA members and non-members. This morning, you're welcome to the Social Media and Library Marketing webinar. And as Anna-Marie has alluded to some of the house rules is please mute yourself and only unmute when you want to talk. And if we can kindly put all our questions and to be raised at the end or in the chat, you can just put it in the chat and then we can address them later. Thank you very much. Living in these unprecedented times of the pandemic, it's actually, COVID has actually taught us a lot. As librarians and as information workers, we had to readjust in order to remain relevant and to be effectively discharge our duties in our respective institutions. The Higher Education Libraries and Interest Group, HELIG, under the chairpersonship of Dr. Shirin Nierper, the National Committee of HELIG, the Marketing and Advocacy Interest Group, MAIG, Chairperson Ms. Therese Skuman, the National MAIG Committee, you are all welcome. I would like to welcome all to this webinar. Our presenters, we can't wait to hear what you're going to share with us this morning. To our members, both HELIG and MAIG, and to our potential members that might have joined us this morning, welcome to this webinar, which is the first of its kind, which we are in collaboration with HELIG and MAIG. For those of us, or for those of you who are still trying to connect, you are also welcome from all corners of our country. The HELIG MAIG webinar, all of you who have managed to connect this morning, we really value your inputs. We appreciate your presence, and we're looking forward for your contributions. This is the first webinar in partnership with HELIG and MAIG. And we are actually in celebration as part of the South African Library Week. As you all are aware, the Library Week has just been launched on Monday, the 15th of March. So we are still during that week where we celebrate what we do best, especially during this COVID period. Thank you all for joining, and welcome to our webinar on social media and library marketing. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mugodi, for the warm welcome to everybody. And I'm so happy to see that we already have 91 participants in the room. Wow, that's absolutely amazing. It just shows the eagerness and the energy that all of you already have in the beginning of the year. And also the importance of social media marketing, especially in higher education. And therefore, we can't wait to listen to our presenter this morning, Elsabe Olivier. I just want to read a short bio of Elsabe before I hand over to her for her exciting presentation. And I'm sure we can all learn a lot from you, because I mean, I'm just looking at UP's social media every morning, every day, and I learn a lot from you as well. And yes, really looking forward, Elsabe. So Elsabe Olivier Many of you will know her. She is well known in libraries, but for you who don't know her, Elsabe has 32 years experience in the academic library environment and is currently the Assistant Director of Marketing and Quality Assurance at the University of Pretoria's Department of Library Services. Her aim is to promote the digital library service products and the Department of Library Services products amongst the University of Pretoria students and staff, and to increase the visibility of this institution nationally. Elsabe served at a LIASA Gauteng North Branch member from 2010 to 2012, and she was the second national runner-up for LIASA Librarian of the Year in 2011. And she served as the LIASA MAIG Marketing Advocacy Interest Group Chair from 2016 to 2018. We welcome Elsabe and all of the best with your presentation. Thank you. Over to Elsabe.
Thank you very much, Therese, for that introduction. And colleagues, thank you so much for spending your morning with me. This lovely cool morning here in Pretoria. We've already had a little bit of rain. So I hope that you will learn something from me. Today, I'm going to share a little bit about the COVID pandemic and how it has impacted the marketing landscape. I'm sure that that's not something I have to share with you. You all know that. I will share some of our social media insights with you, some tips and personal tricks, and hopefully you can also implement this again at your institution. If I refer to DLS, the DLS stands for the Department of Library Services at the University of Pretoria. This is a very visual presentation, so I have many slides and I hope to do this in time, but I thought that you can't talk about social media and not present this visually. I will share some posts that I copied from Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter with you throughout this presentation. So we'll look a little bit about marketing and my 3 C's, as I refer to them in my head: communication, connection, and collaboration. That's my key message with you today. Larsen wanted me to look a little bit at the social media insights. I think this is a very important part of social media, and sometimes we do not give enough attention to this. We post things, but we never look at how they fare. And I think you will also find it very interesting to see what really does well. And then I will look a little bit at the future, how we are going to readjust our social media strategy. So marketing during the COVID pandemic. Unprecedented, unpredictable. Oh, don't we know those terms by now? No one has ever experienced something like this before. I don't think we ever expected something like this. So as a library marketer, we had no blueprint, no past case study or any past experience on how to deal with this. And this unpredictability made it so difficult to plan a marketing strategy. I'm sure just like me, you had your whole year planned out, and then suddenly at the end of March, we were all at home. So things changed drastically and easily and constantly. You know, each time we have a family meeting with our president and we go to a new level and new things are changing, then we are sort of back to square one and we have to communicate everything again. So what are some of the challenges that we experienced? Well, coordinating the teams remotely. I don't know about you, but I've been at home since March last year. So I have only visited my office about 3 times, I think, in the past year. So I still have to have contact with my team, coordinate all our social media posts. And our physical library was, of course, off limits, and I'm sure yours too. And even now, only some students are allowed on our campuses. And if they are there, then of course they may make use of our library, but they can't just wander in and search a book and find a book. So there's a lot of uncertainty about the future, and funding, I don't even want to go there. But what do marketers do? I love this quote from Mark Sheffer. He said, marketing means rolling up your sleeves and doing something. And that's my message to you today. You know, as marketers, this is really the best message that I can leave you with. What do? We just jump in. And I'm sure that's what all of you also did. And if you think that you don't have marketing in your title, I just want to share with you that as a librarian, you are a marketer. I always tell my colleagues that everyone is a marketer because everything that you do is actually promoting your library services. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to focus on communication via social media today. Communication is key for us in a time of crisis. The reason why I'm focusing on social media, because this is something that I could control. We also communicated on our library website and the UP intranet, the University of Pretoria intranet, for our official messages. But the library website doesn't really fall in my portfolio. And at the moment, our library website is going a major overhaul. So although we adapted our messages there, I thought it's maybe not the best time now to talk about the library website. And I'm going to focus on social media. So communication is key in a time of crisis. But how do you do this when you and your team are stuck at home? You move to digital communication, the website and social media. Unfortunately, we have been very involved with social media for a long time. So I think the transition was not too difficult for us. But I realized that we've got many librarians in this webinar this morning. And I must admit, I know that some executive members were not always willing to allow their libraries to go the social media route. So I really wondered, you know, how you must have struggled during this time to only implement social media communication. So all of us were going through the same very tough time, but it's very important during these times to maintain communication with your users. I've already discussed 3 channels of communication that we followed. This was our very first COVID post, sharing that we are closed until further notice. And this was our second one to tell everyone that we will be virtually available. A little bit of background to the social media of the Department of Library Services. Of course, when you are at an institution like an academic institution, you have to adhere to their UP social media guidelines and their policies on social media. But of course, we also have our own social media policy and strategy. Remember that your social media strategy should align with your library strategy. So you should know what your executive team wants, what they need, and where they are heading. Why do you need this? Because it provides direction so that you know what you want to achieve this year. And this is what made it so very difficult last year, because everything just changed. Our objective stays to promote the library services and our resources. And we try to be interesting, engaging, and useful. We believe that we should regularly share content. I mean, really, every day. So we share a new post every day and even over weekends, not every weekend, but even over weekends. The University of Pretoria actually have a policy that the republishing of content from other sources is allowed, but secondary content does not make up more than 5% of our content strategy. This is very important so that you remember. This means that nearly all our posts, 95% of our posts, need to be creative original posts. So here are our social media channels. For the purposes of this presentation, I will focus more on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, although we also have a YouTube account. But I will not be talking about specific YouTube videos made for YouTube today. So social media and the pandemic. Of course, everything was turned on its head. And social media became fundamental during this crisis because we had to communicate. And that is the basic of marketing, is to communicate. And we had to adapt very quickly. So as a marketer, and I'm responsible for social media marketing, it was crucial to be well informed about the library's operations, plans, and policies. And fortunately, I form part of the COVID DLS response task team. And this is my wish for you, that if you are responsible for library marketing or social media, that your executive team also involve you. Because if you don't know what plans they have, you can't communicate this. So our response team meets on a weekly basis. As a matter of fact, they are meeting now, and I'm not there. So I will have to hear afterwards what was decided. But I'm then provided with all the necessary information and what to communicate on our platforms. It's very important for me to be careful in my messages and what I craft, because you don't want to communicate the wrong message. I love this quote from Karen Avils that says, control the controllable. If we focus on the things that we can control, it will make this crisis more bearable. So that's my message for you as well. Control what you can control. Not everything is in your hands, but if you can make a difference, try to do the difference and control that. So I want to share just a few of the visual images that we have prepared during this time. So of course, we had a lot of procedures that changed. How the book pickup service works, how to place a book on hold, how to book a seat, because you can't just walk into the library anymore. Everything has changed. I hope you will notice something already from these visuals that I will be sharing with you. Do you notice my branding, the very strong UP branding, according to the UP regulations and guidelines? And do you notice that we've got a sort of a theme there? So all the how-to posts look similar. Of course, all our librarians were also moved to house duty, and we had to render a virtual service. So again, you will see this is how we promoted our virtual information services. I specifically requested my colleagues, if you have an animal at home, if you have a pet and you love your pet, please show that pet in the picture, because I know that we have to create a connection with our users. So that is why I've also carefully chosen some images of our staff members with their dogs, because I know of people that work with their cats and their dogs on their laps or even next to their laptops. And I thought this will also help to create that connection with our users. Again, colleagues, do you see the theme, the branding, the sort of the look that things look the same? We promoted a lot of our virtual training and of course our virtual events. And of course, our online resources, because there was a lot of focus on our digital resources now. And our marketing also had to focus on the virtual availability of our resources. So even though our doors were physically closed, our information was still available. So here are a few communication tips for you. Content is king. I mean, if you have to get the message out, and you urgently have to get the message out, don't worry about your design. But, you know, seeing that you are maybe a marketer, and if you are responsible for social media marketing, I will propose that you prepare a template for those critical moments that you need to communicate something. You can't scramble to find a template or a design when you need to very quickly communicate to your users, your clients, what is going to happen in your library. Focus on communicating accurate information. Remember what I told you, I form part of the committee. I know what decisions are taken. And actually, I do not communicate before something has not been shared with me in writing. Because if you share the wrong information on your platforms, you can really harm the reputation of your institution. Try to be as creative as possible and create your own original designs. We try to do a mix in our visuals. So static images and then carousels the next, and maybe then a short video. And I will share more about that a little bit later, because variety is interesting. brand your design so that people know that you are communicating via your institution. And you saw the themes that I used in my post, that when I share information on a specific topic, that they all have the same look and feel. Because remember, those posts were all shared on different days of the week and throughout a long period of time. Do not only share COVID-related information. And you will remember this when we look at the social media metrics, because you know what? I think this was such a trying time. It actually still is a trying time for so many people. So you can't only focus on sharing COVID-related information. You should also play a role in trying to share more positivity. And I'll talk more about that later. Invest in the right tools. I must admit, colleagues, if you are taking notes now, you should be writing now. I am extremely fortunate that our executive team understands the value of social media. And last year, just before the pandemic, I'm so happy to report, we bought Hootsuite and Canva. We used the free Canva platform for quite some time, but now we have a license, and this has made a world of difference to our designs. So Hootsuite is a social media management platform. And what's nice about this wonderful interface is that you have a dashboard and you can see your integrations for Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. And we are actually use this in our workflow now. And you can schedule posts. That's what's so nice about Hootsuite. So you can work on your posts, say a week or two or even longer in advance, and you can schedule it to go out on a specific time of a day. Canva is a graphic design platform, and it is used to create social media graphics. And everything you see in my presentation today is designed or was designed by Canva. Connection is my third C. Second C, sorry, connection. So Megan Pratt said, marketing relies heavily on empathy, which in turn relies on an understanding of the people you're trying to talk to. So as librarians, we realize we have to stand in the shoes of our clients, of our users. We really have to understand them. You can't do marketing if you don't know your audience. This is a very important point. You have to create a connection with them. So marketing relies heavily on empathy, understanding exactly what they need. But remember, people were also looking for distraction and positivity. So throughout our posts, we try to foster a sense of connection. We strive to be that pillar of support, that source of helpful information. We try that our content should improve the life of our users in some way. We really want them to have a positive experience. And that's why we adjusted our messaging, and we are still doing it every day. We think about the crafting of our messages. We want to be emphatic and respectful. We want our users, our clients to see, we are here for you. We appreciate you. We miss you. You know, we should never forget that wherever you work, you are there, especially if you're in an academic institution. You are there because they are students. And you should remember, how do you handle your clients? So part of my responsibility is also quality assurance. So this is a huge part for me, that we should be very respectful and emphatic for our users' needs. So our social media approach is, we also respond to all our users' questions and remarks. If someone remarks on something on my page, I go and like it. I will sometimes go and respond myself, and I will answer if there are questions. I never let the questions lie. You need to respond. You always need your clients, your users to see that you remain sympathetic and that you are there. You are reading. Remember, this is social. So this is not a one-way street. It's not a matter of you posting something and you forget about it. If someone comments, you should show them, thank you, I saw that you saw this. I love this beautiful image. Right now, marketing means helping. And I think you should please take this to heart. Marketing means helping. How do we do that connection? We do this by Monday motivations. And while I talk about Monday motivations, before I forget this, Larshan and I talked about this at the beginning while we waited for everyone to join the webinar. Colleagues, you are welcome. If you're in a smallish library and you can't always do your own designs, please feel welcome to share this. Share our posts with your clients. It doesn't matter that it's UP branded. You will still get the message across. The interesting fact about our Monday motivations is that in one of our library quality surveys that I'm also responsible for, our students actually asked for motivations. They said that it's tough to study, it's really difficult, and they would like the library to also motivate them. So that's why we started these digital Monday motivations. And actually during exam time, we used to make small little printouts for our students, and we put this on a whiteboard and they could take this. But we are continuing with our Monday motivations to create that connection with our users. And then we have our Throwback Thursday. So you can see I'm focusing on the fun things. We are reminiscing about the library, on the old ways, the way things used to be. We remind them in our Throwback Thursdays about fun moments, the flash mob we had in the library, or, you know, all the people there were during Open Access Week or Heritage Day, or when we celebrated the Soccer World Cup. You must try to make that connection. Also with your other posts, we're in this together, South Africa. Stay home, stay safe, keep reading. And like the post on the red, we know that the coronavirus feels scary. There's also much to feel hopeful about. So actually this was a carousel and you could swipe to read the others. But I hope you can get the feeling there, the connection with our clients. So we posted feel-good content because we wanted them to remember Libby. We celebrated Libby's birthday, our little robot's birthday, on social media. We celebrate Mother's Day, Father's Day, all the public holidays. We publish the beautiful letters that we've received from our students. Marensky, I miss you. I hope you miss me too. Or welcome back students, even though they were not really physically back on campus, but the new term just started. And of course, if you can, always bring in humor. I just love this little design on the left with Easter weekend, because I know that we were all so exhausted after that very difficult start of the lockdown, and the Grinch who stole graduation. And do you remember our Google, some of my colleagues who are also a little bit more advanced in years, how we did research for our projects? The students like the humorous post, and don't forget about that. They really need this in a time like this. So my final connection tips: focus less on yourself and more on what your users want. Let them know you understand their challenges. You are there to help them through this very tough time. And post feel-good content so that you can create a positive energy. I love to put emojis in the post as well, because they also represent emotions. My last C, collaboration. Christy Hines says, social media collaboration can be successful with the right processes in place, tools in hand, and defined roles and responsibilities. I've already shared some of my tool tips with you. I'm going to share a little bit of my collaboration tools with you. Involve your colleagues. You can't do social media on your own. Do you even want to? That is my question. Social media is about being social, and it works best to work with other people. Your team should consist of the right people. Now you might ask me, so who are the right people? I say the right people are those people who really want to be involved, the people who want to contribute. And you know, not everyone wants to contribute, but you might need to give them a nudge here and there. My social media team consists of 4 members. And each of these team members has his or own assigned role. So I oversee the process. I am very fortunate to have appointed a PhD student in February this year. He's a very creative designer. He only works for 24 hours a week, and I'm going to share some of the most amazing things that he has created for us. The previous 2 years, I also had a contract worker for 24 hours a week who assisted me with social media. This is a very important part of my strategy because we create our own original content. It really takes up immense time. Larsen, we also talked about that just now, that I don't think people realize how much effort goes into social media posts. So you need people to assist you. My other team members are Lydia Swart. Lydia is our digitization officer, and actually she doesn't report to me, but Lydia is the face behind our Monday motivations, and she loves doing the motivations. You know, she's so busy. She is responsible for digitizing chapters from books, especially now during COVID. But she tells me, oh, Elsabe, I love this so. So those are the people that you want on your team, the people that have that creative aspect in their personality, that like to do something. And you know, I can count on Lydia. Every Monday, her Monday motivation is ready to go out on Canva. My last team member is Nikki Hall. Nikki also does not report to me. Nikki is the coordinator of the Special Collections Unit. And she is the face behind our Throwback Thursdays, the puzzles that I will share with you soon, and the Special Collections book posts. So I dearly value these valuable team members because I want you to know this is really a team effort. This doesn't only come from me. I maybe have some of the ideas, but I have people who assist me. So the right people, remember, are the people who want to be involved and people that you can count on that will not let you down and will create their posts on time. The spin-off of having this wonderful collaboration with a variety of people, of course, is that it brings about wonderful new creative ideas and initiatives. And I'm just going to share some of this with you. So last year, the University of Pretoria Library launched Insta Novels to develop a stronger reading culture. So this was a project for 2020, and I'm not sure whether we will be able to continue with this due to staff shortage. But if you want to read more about this project, I have also added this to my references. These Insta novels were complete short stories, and they were published on the Instagram story feature, accompanied by modern illustrations. We published 9 Insta novels last year. I also want you to note the 2 images on the right-hand side of my presentation. Crinkle Your Face was actually written by a student, so you can see the link to collaboration. And Hair was written by Anthea Pretorius, a UP staff member. So we also put out this plea on our social media channels. If you are a writer and you would like to share your story with us, please get in touch with us. At that stage, Kelly Liebenberg, who has since left our employment, she was my contract worker. She negotiated with them because copyright is, of course, always an issue when you have these posts. But we published these short stories on Insta Novels, and I still think this was such a lovely project. And then we've got Nikki Hor's project, the Special Collections online puzzles. And I think this is also such a wonderful initiative. So these puzzles were created from pictures within our special collections. And we think they provide a fun mental break for our students. And as a matter of fact, we ran an online survey towards the end of last year. And our students actually told us, please give us something to keep us busy with. We want something fun and enjoyable to do when we don't study. So I think this really fits into that need. So my final collaboration tips for you. Remember, the librarians in your library, they interact with your users. They know exactly what your users are looking for. It just makes perfect sense to involve them as much as possible. Invite them to share content. Remember, my team that I've just mentioned to you are the people who physically post on our platforms. But I am involved with collaborations with a variety of team members. So involve everyone who shows interest in social media. Your library staff members, your students, role players on and off campus. I always have wonderful competitions with Protea Bookshop. They are always willing to sponsor some of my prizes. We have one at the moment for Library Lovers Month, which is actually running into March because all the academic librarians know that our year has only started now. So I had to give our students a chance to enter, and they have given me 6,000 Rand worth of prizes. So look out for those collaborators. My main content collaborators at the moment are the Library Technical Services team, especially acquisitions and the catalogers, the Research Commons team, so they provide the postgraduate support to our students, and the Learning Center team, they provide the undergraduate support. We are now going to move over to the social media insights. So Larshan, I know that you asked for this, but I think this is a very important part. So I'm sure that many of you, if you are here today, you all have social media platforms. But we put so much time and effort into these platforms. We have to make sure that what we do makes a difference. So we have to record our metrics. And I just wonder, do you follow up on your metrics? So I can just tell you that my team and I meet every second month, and then we review the past 2 months' posts. And we have to see at what the data tells us. It's very important because the results will reveal to you maybe that you should change your strategy. So here are the social media followers for 2020, according to Hootsuite. Remember, I shared with you that we make use of Hootsuite now. We've got 5.4K fans on Facebook, 1.4K followers on Twitter, and 1.5K followers on Instagram. I should also mention to you that our Instagram was only launched towards the end of 2019. So I'm very happy that we are actually doing quite well with Instagram. So Twitter is definitely not our most popular platform, and that's very interesting for me, but I can always see in the metrics that Facebook used to be the most popular platform, but last year with COVID, things changed and Instagram became more popular. So let's quickly have a look at Facebook first. These are the Facebook statistics according to Hootsuite. We had 726 new fans last year. And this is the number that I love, the engagement. Because remember, we are not only posting so that people can see things. And I realize many people see what you do, but they don't like what you do. And Teresa and Larshan, you remember I told you that when we chatted earlier, before the webinar started. So people, you may watch, but please like and appreciate. I will really like you to also appreciate and like what we do. We have many stalkers, people that only see what you do, but they don't want to engage with you at all. But for the UP Library, engagement is very important. So you'll see with Facebook, we had 17,000 reactions in 2020. And for me, that is the number that really makes my heart feel warm. We had 2,000 shares and 1.7K comments. That is really good for me. I'm happy with that. And we had 778 posts in 2020. This is a very important picture. It tells us who are the people that use your page. And what do we see? We see it's ladies. 60% of the people following our Facebook page are ladies, and we should keep that in mind when we design our posts. I love Angela Hirsch. You'll see I've also added her to my references, and I'm going to talk more about her. But she says, social media can feel really hard and complicated and overwhelming. But sometimes it's really the simple things that are going to resonate the most with your followers. So I've especially put this here because I'm going to share with you which of our posts did the best last year. And you will be surprised to see what really fared very well. So colleagues, when I promoted this webinar, I also shared with you that I'll be very frank about things that went wrong or didn't work well. So I decided I am not going to hide this boo-boo. I will share this with you. This post would have been our number one. But because of a little misunderstanding between me and Kelly, it was published twice. Now you will ask me, why didn't I delete it? You know why not? Because I saw the engagement. This post is about the rankings, the academic rankings. It seems that this always stays a very popular topic in the academic environment. You can see with the first post, it reached 158 people, but the engagement was 1,327. It had 115 shares. With the second post, it reached 1,312. The engagement was 550. It had 100 shares. That's absolutely amazing. So I didn't delete that post because if people shared your post and you delete it, then of course, they will not be able to see that post anymore. So we just let it be. But obviously my new team and I, we coordinate our efforts much better. And Jordan and I have an understanding that I will maybe keep my hands off. He will rather share via Hootsuite. Our Facebook engagement, this was pre-COVID, but another post that did very well was last year's Book Lovers competition. You see that we had a reach of more than 12,000 and the engagement more than 1,000. I now have a very sad post to share with you. So colleagues, this is a staff member that passed away last year, also pre-COVID actually. And I always share posts about our colleagues, their retirements, and if things like this happens, because I also believe that we have a responsibility towards people that served us well for many years. We have to give recognition to them for their hard work. And Anna-Marie's post did extremely well. But having said that, I just want to share with you that all posts of staff members in any capacity. I also love sharing when it's our library director's birthday, for example. Those posts do extremely well. So there's something to learn from this. People posts do well, and your students love to see what your staff members are up to. This might not be a surprise to you. Of course, the funny things, the funny jokes, they always are tops with engagement and reach. This was an image of an exhibition bound to happen, but it's a procrastination station, and this did very well. You can see the engagement there. We love to see the engagement, and we do not only check the reach of posts. And here again, another Facebook high engagement post for us, actually something that we shared about books with 2020. That was such a tough year that it had all these volumes of books. We always look at the comparison of our library with other libraries. So please just note, colleagues, that this page differs from week to week. This never stays the same because every one of you posts things, but I have earmarked some libraries, all the national libraries, but also international libraries, and I benchmark against them. And UJ, if there's someone from UJ, I really want to compliment you. You are doing well. Your engagement is always very well. And of course, I see your total page likes is 13.4K. That's really something to applaud. I really want to also give recognition to UJ in that regard. Let's quickly have a look at Twitter. So if you don't have Hootsuite, you have to make use of analyticstwitter.com to have a look at your statistics. But my Hootsuite Twitter statistics shows me that we posted 666 tweets in 2020, and you'll see the engagement is much lower than Facebook. Really summarizing that Facebook is really our preferred platform for our students. Our top tweet, though, was actually this tweet about the overdue books. That's quite interesting. I think students were so worried about the books that they couldn't return to the library. So this actually did very well. The second top tweet was the post about the safety precautions in our libraries. The impressions and was more than 2,000, you can see. We shared some of the images of our libraries and the new safety precautions. And then, of course, the third top tweet is instructions to download Microsoft, helping our students. If we quickly move over to Instagram, we have 373 new followers in 2020. And there you can see my engagement. I love that. For our photos, 10K. The carousel album, 800. And for our videos, 299. Watch this space. You will see what it's going to look like next year. Again, our gender of our Instagram followers, it's ladies. 62% of our followers are ladies. What does this picture tell you about your social media? You'll see the same post on Instagram also was our #1. The students love to be entertained, and something funny and light and amusing always does very well. Even this meme, you're okay? No, I miss my library. I love this. Just look at the engagement of this post. Our third is our makerspace, our library makerspace, who also assisted with the printing of PPEs. And this actually did very well. Our biggest achievement I have to share with you, colleagues, is actually that our VC, Professor Tawani Kupe, follows all our posts and engages with us. This tells me something about this man. You know, I'm really impressed. It's absolutely wonderful to have a VC and to see in everything that you post that he's always there and that he likes it and he even engages and he will sometimes leave a comment. I just love that about him. But also I have to share with you, one of our failures is that not all our library staff members follow us. And this is quite tricky because even though I promote this a lot and many of them are on social media, I really also think social media is a lovely way to share the content that we are posting to get the message across, because I'm sure that some of our UP staff and students are also following our staff members in their personal capacity. Not all our library staff members are following our own page. So there, I always feel there's room for improvement. I am sharing more posts on our staff intranet nowadays, on our staff listservs and on the information specialist listservs. I'm trying to generate some more interest there, but it's still a battle to get my own staff members to like our posts. I wanted to share a lot more, but I don't want to keep you too long, so I've decided to only include these 3 images. What really doesn't work for us seems to be sharing of secondary content. So in other words, we did not design these posts. They are also not funny. It seems that those kinds of posts really don't do well, and students don't respond to this at all. So maybe you should also have a look what works, because if you can find out what works, you can try to replicate that success again. So you might be wondering, how are we readjusting our social media strategy for 2021? We are carefully rethinking our social media platforms' goals, purposes, and audiences. The reason being that the University of Pretoria is undergoing an institutional-wide social media audit, and we will also be audited later in this year. For me, the branding of posts is a crucial issue, and you'll see that all our posts are branded now. Having said that, colleagues, you are so welcome to share that. I would love to see that more of you maybe start sharing our content. Because GIFs and videos are so popular, we are using more of them, and we are alternating them with still images. We are repurposing, but, and this is very important, but not cross-posting content to different platforms. This means that we adjust the message and the images before we reshare it to another platform. And here's a very valuable tip. Please take note. I'm going to share with you Co-Schedule. Co-Schedule, and I've added the link, will tell you what works for each platform. Go and try it out. That is really going to be a very useful tip to you. Some of our new initiatives, and I just have to share this, this is Jordan's wonderful new initiative, is to celebrate our South African writers. We always take the link back to the library. Do you see the book images there? Those are books in our libraries, and we share exactly in which library that book can be found. I just love these news. These new happy birthday posts. And who doesn't like happy birthday? Talking about happy birthday and celebrations, I also attend our Department of Marketing's meetings. And in social media, their number one tip is, and let me share that with you, is the word congratulate. The word congratulate also just opens social media doors for you. We all want positive news. So if you've got positive news, share that. Here's another new initiative. This is the one with the Learning Center for our undergraduate support, and I would like to share this post with you. The other new initiative that we have is This Day in History. You can see we always link back to our resources by adding where people can find the books. This is the collaboration with the acquisitions team. We are sharing information about our databases. You know that we are paying a lot of money for these databases, and we want everyone to use them. So this is the new acquisitions, the LTS collaboration, and sharing information about all our databases. And then I would like to end off with the research tip of the week, our collaboration with our postgraduate team. colleagues, in conclusion, keep up with social media trends. Read, read, read. This is what I learned from my mentor, Monica Hummus. Maybe some of you still remember her. She told me that you can't perform your duties if you don't know what's happening in your portfolio. So keep reading. You can subscribe to social media blogs, and I mentioned some of them there. I know that we are all so busy and we don't always have the time to follow all of them, but I've also given you my 2 personal favorites, and these are from Angela Hirsch, Super Library Marketing. And I also suggest that you subscribe to her, The Library Marketing Show on YouTube. I just love those videos. They are short, to the point. I really try to make the time to watch them and to learn from her. Remember, if you've got the right processes, you've got the right tools, and you've got the right people in your team, the success will follow. Lastly, I believe if you love your work, it will show in the final product. And that is all from me. They are my references. And if you would like to contact me, you are welcome. I'll share and I'll leave my email address to you. I hope I didn't keep you too long, colleagues. That is all from me.
Thank you, colleagues, for your attention for the past hour. On behalf of MAIG and of HELIG, I would like to say thank you to Elsabe. Well, the passion in her voice tells you that she loves her job, and marketing is one of her specialities. So I would like to say thank you to Elsabe. Elsabe, I think your initiatives in your library is very inspiring to everybody else. And I think in this time of reimagining and re-envisioning the way we do things in libraries, I think it's important for each one of us to learn from each other. And this whole knowledge sharing is important in taking our libraries forward. And I think with media and technology and load shedding included, I think it gives us some food for thought on how we market our services from an online perspective. With that, I want to say thank you very much, Elsabe. You've been really inspirational to all of us. Thank you, colleagues, for joining us. And I hope if you would like other areas that you would like us to do, please send us an email or to Anna Marie, and we will work on other areas that we need to focus on in the future. Thank you, Elsabe, once again.
Thank you, Larsen. I know that we went a little bit over time, so I'm not sure that we have some time for questions. My apologies for keeping you too long. But if there's something you would like to know, colleagues, everyone is welcome to reach out to me. Like I said, this is a team effort. I will channel you to the right people as well.
Thank you, colleagues. Are there any questions?
Larsen.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Elsabe. It was very informative.